Hey guys, what's up? Synx here again for another Java programming tutorial. And like I said last tutorial, today we're going to be talking about the while loop and the do while loop. And I'll show you how you type out in the syntax of both of them, and I'll also be telling you what the difference between them is. It's a very slight difference, but it's worth mentioning. I'm just going to set up a quick variable. Actually, I'll do two variables, I and j. And in Java, at least, common practice for incrementing variables, primary one is I, and the secondary one is j. And you'll see that when I do nested for loops and stuff like that eventually. But just for your knowledge right now, that's what it is. For a while loop, I'll just explain it real quick. For a while loop, it's pretty much declaring a condition. So as long as this is true, it's kind of like an if statement, but it continually does it while the condition is true instead of just once. So it'll declare a condition, and then in the block under it, it'll execute that code while the condition is true. So you type out while, and right now I'm just going to do I is less than 10. Get your braces in there, and then here's where you type in what you want the program to do while I is less than 10. So like we learned last week, I'm going to do increments. So I'm going to do I++ for every time it loops through this cycle, it's going to add 1 to I. And it's up here currently set to 0. And then I'm just going to print out what it is. So it'll be I plus, and then just space to separate the numbers. And if I run this, you'll see down here it prints out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like it's supposed to. Because even though I is equal to 1 up here, it's less than 10, so the first time it goes through, it'll add 1 to I, which will then print out 1 and then a space, and then it keeps looping through while I is less than 10. But if I take this I++ and move it to the end here and run it, you'll see that it starts with 0 and goes up to 9. So there's a hierarchy with increments and stuff, so you have to keep that in mind. Then I guess I'll show you another one that we learned last time, just plus equals 2 I'll do. And now it just does multiples of 2, not including 10, because it starts out as 0 and we don't start adding 2 until after it prints out the first value. So that's the basic while loop. They are very useful. Also are for loops, which I'll do next tutorial, but they're very useful in continually doing things as long as something is true. It'll just keep repeating this action. For example, if you know what an array is, we'll do that in a different tutorial, but you can use while or for loops to just continuously add a value to an array and just make that array bigger and bigger and bigger until that condition's false. So yeah, that's the basic for loop. A basic while loop, but a do while loop is different. The execution is almost exactly the same, but it's not. And the syntax for it is do, and then your braces, and then you type in what you want. I'll do I++, and I'll print out just the way I did last time. And then you put your condition down here, so while I is less than 10, and then semicolon. So pretty much a do while loop is a while loop upside down, except if the condition of this while statement down here is false, the do block will always execute at least once. So how could I show you this? Say I set this to 10. 10 is not less than 10, so it's equal to 10. If I had is less than or equal to, then this would be true, but I'm just going to have it as less than 10, so this while condition is false, and you'll see what happens. See, it still prints out 11, because even though this condition down here is false, that's not executed or it's not comprehended by the program until after this first do block is already executed. So it already goes in, adds 1 to I to make I 11, and then prints that out before it recognizes that it's only going to do this while I is less than 10. So you can do that if you can use do while loops if there's something where you only want to execute once with a at a certain amount of time, but later on down the road, if the condition becomes true and you want to still execute it, you could do while loop. That is pretty much it for do while loops and a normal while loop. Have any questions? There's a comment box or my PM box in the forums. You can always ask me a question. Feel free to. I hope you guys learned how to use a do while loop and a while loop, and I'll see you guys next tutorial.